So I got a few viddies that I might want to dive into. I'm not sure which way I want to go first, but yeah. So hearing about the ancients, yes, and the pyramids and different things like that, I am absolutely fascinated in all of this stuff.
Mhm.
Do you ever notice through history, and this is the stuff that we're going to have to talk about that we can see on the ground level? So we can say we can see pyramids and different stuff like that,
Yeah,
civilizations
yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
Okay, dokie. So science is related to knowing and what you understand.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Yeah.
So if we understand that then there's this knowing with science.
Mhm.
But the problem is with science and the knowing, you
Yeah.
only know what is in your world to begin with, yes?
Yeah.
And then science collect. Yeah?
Yeah.
Basically a bunch of collective, if you like,
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
However, if there is stuff that is known elsewhere,
Mhm.
other civilizations, not talking Earth here, we're talking. I don't have this belief that everybody else shares, and I think I'm kind of. I think it's starting to gain a movement, but I don't believe that humans are the only ones. I
Yeah.
never will
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, that belief is very conditioned, I think,
Yeah.
for a particular reason. I don't believe in that at all. And therefore, there would be a collective amount of knowing or capabilities, let's say.
Yeah.
So they say that when they do DNA sequencing, that humans had 12 strands and it was altered, and now they only have 2 strands, which I think it's 3. But okay, we'll go with 2 because that's currently believed, right?
Yeah.
Now, what would you think
Yeah.
would happen? Because they would say that perhaps some sort of beings came down and manipulated the human gene pool, let's say, or the DNA ratio, or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that they dialed it back to enslave humans and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think would trigger an event like that?
Not sure.
Not sure.
To make people more aware of something.
No,
No?
no. It's the same saying that everybody says about money, though. We've
Yeah.
always confused this with money.
Yeah.
Yo, if I can give you a little and you do bad with a little, that's how you will do with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing called awakening,
Yeah.
right? So if you don't understand it, then dive through a couple of my other videos. But in basic, this is you can see it in the other videos.
Yeah.
So I don't really need to brush up on that in this one per se. So we will understand the divine
Yeah.
would be an order collected, a collective order that is overseeing all life that is starting to manifest throughout the whole of the universe.
Yeah.
That's all life forms.
Mhm.
Certain life forms are more unlocked than other life forms. So if we look at animals, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
we could say that their ratio is dialed back
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have to say reserves. Okay?
Yeah.
If I can help you understand that. How can I explain this in a way that humans are going to understand it? That's my translation of that. How can I explain that in a way that y'all get it? So if I can borrow you for this video, is to give me a thumbs up if you don't feel confident of talking. Just let me know if you understand what I'm saying. So we'll look at animals then as reserves.
Yeah.
Dialed back considerably compared to humans. So if we say then animals contain a 2, but humans contain a 3 in level of being unlocked. So that's mostly. Nature contains 4. So nature is considerably more advanced than humans are. Humans are dialed back considerably compared to what nature is, and animals are dialed back considerably more from what humans are. Okay? Now, what is this? This is about capability. But it's not about just capability. Do you understand the ratio of that? Would you like some comparisons to that to help you dive into that a little bit more? Why nature would be a bit more, and why humans would be slightly less, and why animals would be less. So animals do not have the capability to lift you off of a planet and take every other species with them. Yes? Okay, but they don't need to. If you've got one that is the strongest out of the ratio, yes, humans have more of ability to do that. Nature is more advanced. However, its capability has been dialed back considerably compared to humans. However, in another aspect, it's more forward. Okay, so what it understands in a level of what you would understand as understanding is far more intricate, let's say. It's got a lot more knowing there than humans, but yet capability of lifting everybody off of the planet is not it. But it can lift itself. Now, this needs to be explained in terms of most stars of composition of this one follow a trajectory, right? So it has its bands, let's say, and during this ratio of evolving to this ratio of evolving is eerily similar to another star ratio. So if the planet, the star, changed its composition, I'd say not composition, it's the wrong word, its magnetic field was to get a lot stronger. The radiation output was to become more stronger. Yes? And nature would no longer grow in that, humans' demise, animals' demise, and all the rest of it, yes? Unless you left the planet. Then you would have to find a star that was at this ratio where you began living. So if you knew that this was a comfortable ratio, that you knew humanity could be supported from here to here, but when it went past here, because you would now have some knowing, some understanding, that for whatever reason the magnetism becomes increased, the radiation is more, and it does not support life. Then you would have to find another star of similar composition at a younger age, so that you could catch in and cash into this existing range. Yes? Nature has this capability. Humans don't. Okay, so if you were to blow the planet now, and it was to explode, when the star explodes and knocks out all of these seeds and different things like that, there's a higher chance that nature would be able to cope with that ratio from X to Z. Humans would die. Animals would die. Nature would not. It would suspend. Okay? So when we understand that, nature is in a far more better predicament than any life form on the planet. That's where the advanced capability lies. Okay? Because it's got this level of knowing from point A to point B. Then, if nature has been around a supernova, let's say, it would also have this stowed away in its arsenal, that it's learnt to habitable zones around each of these stars. Yes? So it would have this knowing, but it knows to act this way while here. If it was put near a supernova, it would know this. Perhaps it could adapt to know another star composition with its radiation. It could learn a neutrino, let's say. It'd be very tricky, but I think it would be able to do it. It'd find that in that ratio. So nature is much, much more advanced than humans. So it can lift itself off of the planet in this aspect. So that's where we're going with that. Humans would have to battle throughout space. They would have to deal with radiation. They would have to deal with deep space. They would have to deal with temperature. The closest thing that humans could do to cocoon their eggs, let's say, would be to send their own sperm and eggs out somewhere and hope that these were to merge together outside a human. Right, so you understand the capability of doing that. It can't do it. But yet it can be taught to do it. So nature becomes far more advanced than that. Animals, less advanced. Because they are relying on this.
On that. Yeah.
But humans rely on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is reliant on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Now, it's highly likely that if the Earth did blow in that type of way, that the ice, providing it didn't get too close to a star in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
would act like a capsule, a time capsule. And if any seeds are caught into that and that crashes into something else, there's a possibility that this can regerminate and have enough of its own nutrients
Yeah.
to start again,
Mm-hmm.
capture some soil, and then these meteorites would travel in clusters.
Mm-hmm.
There would be more than enough for it to start again.
Yeah.
Humans, life, animals,
No.
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 So when you understand that, that becomes a knowing, yes?
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah.
Argue with it, say that it isn't true, say that it is, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Now, here's the next bit. So let's say we have science in that is all about catching up. So all science is doing is playing catch up. In the whole of anything that you understand is being learned at a very snail's pace, right?
Yeah.
And even if there are some errors in there, it takes a long time for these errors to be, that's why science has to be a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you think. So when we've got one planet and we've got another planet and we have a species on here and we have a species on here.
Yeah.
And then let's say we have a collective
Mm-hmm.
that are guiding each and every single life form that would rise up on any other planet. Now, you're limited to the knowing that is here.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
And it's a slow process of learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, what say humans don't work within their all-knowing?
Yeah.
Could you be dialed back? Perhaps you started off and the ancients probably did an awful lot of hard work. This is beyond the soil level.
Yeah.
So let's say that if we didn't have this regenerating surface soil, let's say, for X amount of, if we remove humans from the planet and animals and nature, the way it's recycling into its core and everything else, eventually there would be no trace of human existence whatsoever. The pyramids would be recycled back into the volcanoes and this churning would go on and on. It would take a lot of time. But again, time is time. How long does it take you to get to another star? How long would it take you to get to another galaxy? How long would it take you to get to multiple galaxies? I mean, it's almost inconceivable. So time is on your side, let's say.
Yeah.
So what you know is limited to what's been unlocked.
Yeah.
And we could layer this in with evolution. We can layer this into whatever you want to put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But what say you have a collective on another planet that's learning, and they choose to go in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
They listen to their guiding stars.
Yeah.
And no longer are they at 12, but 24.
Mm-hmm.
And each time they progress and progress. After all, something higher within your psyche.
Yeah.
Again, slowly but surely, you become mute. You dial all the way back until you belong with the animals again.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when we go back into the other one, we got ones on standby.
Yeah.
So reserve.
Mm-hmm.
What's a reserve life on this planet? Animals. Are you?
Yeah.
Do you understand that at a point? Yeah. So their capabilities would be a higher knowing than what yours is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They would then be viewed as you would view these, that they would be more advanced. And each time they jump for a hoop,
Mm-hmm.
they get more capabilities.
Yeah.
They are awoken more and more and more and more and more and more and more, and it just keeps going and going and going and growing. Now, with this capability, with this unlocking, science would say that all of this would be science fiction. Hence why science has got to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So this capability would be like, whew. So what could their capability look like compared to humans? And to be unlocked is or awoken is amazing.
Yeah.
Are these able to deal with radiation? Are they immune to it? Think about the gifts that you have. Think about them.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you travel to Antarctica? Yes.
Yeah.
But you are inside a ratio, right? You're in a ratio of not too hot, not too cold. You can deal with it, though.
Yeah.
You can deal with an awful lot. That is a
Yeah.
capability.
Yeah.
Can you hold your breath and go underwater?
Yeah.
That's a capability.
Mm-hmm.
Can you cope with radiation?
No. Very, very minimal.
Do you have receptors in your brain that no one knows what they're for?
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah.
So that would mean that there's a capability that is not active.
Mm-hmm.
That is either, we call it, it's dormant.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, but it's just dormant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So therefore, a part of your mind is aware that there are more layers to this life than you are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, it teaches you that there is a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm.
There's more capability there.
Yeah.
Can you eat any food that you want to eat?
Not any.
Can you deal with space? Can you breathe carbon?
No. And in space, humans got to orbit, sorta, didn't they?
Well, if it was easy, everyone would be going.
Yeah, yeah. And
You wouldn't have such a reliance on robotics.
went to moon, but then stopped doing, continuing.
So where does all of this knowing come from then, when you didn't have an education system? Think about it. Were your ancients taught? Did something come and teach them?
Yeah, I would think so.
What do you think taught them?
Someone from the space? Okay.
Guiding star.
Yeah.
Before you get into space, you are partly right.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are part correct. So if there is other life forms, there's a, we say if, because that's how everyone believes. It's a belief system at the end of the day. You believe that if there is life out there.
Yeah.
So is there a part then where there are life forms out there that are so more advanced and in tune with this than Earth? Because Earth have decided to cover it up and they've decided to shut it all out. Their choice.
Yeah.
This is a choice. It's not everybody's choice, but it is a choice that has been made nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And whether one or all, the choices have been made.
Yeah.
And then you would have to look at the population and say that's unfair. Well, go protest about it then, as they would say.
Yeah.
If you want changes, protest.
Yeah.
So where it really doesn't matter whether this makes it or it doesn't, that's a choice. That is a choice. Although the choice is not the outcome that you want, but again, it's a choice that you've made nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then where you've got others that are far more advanced, far more able to cope with the universe. Now, is that about adapting to it and evolution changes it? Or do you think it's part and parcel of being more awoken, more awoken, more awoken because of what you can do with these abilities? I mean, if you just want to stay in this limbo stage of this everyday hustle and bustle on your planet, and it's all about money, and it's all about making money, it's all about building things to keep this monopoly system going, then yeah, that's what you chose to do with your little.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you think that this is going to unlock, or do you think this is going to start to restrict?
Restrict.
If you can play creator, what would you do? Would you give them more, or would you take more?
I wouldn't give more because it looks like they would just use it against the weaker individuals in their society. They just climb on someone's backs.
And then, if there were any more planets that were moving and they were working this out, literally on a scale that has never been seen.
Mm-hmm.
They have unlocked this in all people. We would class as people. You would say people.
Yeah.
Okay, it just makes it easier to say so.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and give you names and
Yeah.
species and different things like that, right? Because it just gets so complicated. We just keep it simple.
Yeah.
So when I say people, I
It's-
should say species.
Yeah.
But again, we're just getting hung up on the whole.
Yeah. People of different worlds and
Yes,
yeah.
life forms of different planets
Yeah.
that unlock this in all people,
Mm-hmm.
that followed the path and learned that there was reward attached to this. Lots of reward. Therefore, their knowing is going to be trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you let them know of other civilizations once they had unlocked an awful lot within them?
Yeah.
Would you make them aware of where these other civilizations are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the divine need to come here to punish? What would be the point in that?
Yeah.
Do you think that they would be capable of being immune to radiation?
No.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, under the old story of a rat eats enough poison, it becomes immune to it.
Mm.
Aren't humans drinking radiation?
Yeah.
Let's say, taking
Okay.
tablets with
Yeah.
radiation in
Yeah,
it.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that in the hope that you become immune to it?
Yeah. To kill cancer and yeah. Not to have it. So yeah.
But do you think these would be immune to it, that they'd be unlocked? And then the more capabilities they have,
Mm-hmm.
therefore they're unlocked and more knowing. What could you know? How much more could you know if you were immune to radiation?
A lot more.
You were aware in the beginning that it's quite a toxic thing.
Yeah.
What could you do if you no longer burned? Could take real big extreme temperature fluctuations.
Yeah. You could investigate space, travel there. You could go closer to volcanoes, or you could go to Antarctica or Arctica in cold weather.
What if you could cope with pressure and the lack of it?
You could go under the sea as well, could you? See what's there, because we don't know much what's there. We know a little bit, little depths, and then some spaces where people went in good submarines and saw something more, but how much did they really see?
What if you knew how to recreate your species that you had lost in your past?
You could replenish the world with them.
You could recreate your history.
Yeah.
Not for a few,
Hmm?
but for all.
For all, yeah.
You know, because this would have to be entrusted,
Yeah.
right? This would have to be steward with responsibility. And eventually, you unlock yourself all the way to where?
To where, right? I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Well, if you had all of these capabilities unlocked bit by bit.
To space?
To space.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd ever meet the collective, the divine?
Yeah.
Step by step.
Mm-hmm. Meet other species there.
How do you think you meet the collective?
In space? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let me give you another example, because I'm asking you the question, and don't feel bad. I'm just seeing where you can walk with this on your own. That's all. Because then it helps me understand what is understood. You are a real big help in this, by the way. So if you could, bit by bit, be able to recreate your past, the individuals, you know how they built, you know what they're built from.
Mm-hmm.
They're all knowing.
Yeah.
You could recreate your past, all species, all of them that have ever died. What happens if you could bring these, cope with pressure?
Yeah. Go anywhere.
Don't you walk towards the collected, the divine? Don't you begin to unlock it?
Yeah. And you create and you look forward to know something more.
Well, the time is ticking, really, because you've got until the end of the cycle. But you know, you're powerful enough. More revealing, more closer and closer and closer and closer to the divine, the collected. This is what we would call the afterlife, most would say. Wouldn't that be like an easy way to get there?
Yeah.
The past relies on the future, and the future relies on the past.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask you, do you think it's about a few individuals? Do you think a few individuals would be able to reach that?
No, it should be more. It should be the whole humanity.
And then I would ask any other life form out there, who you gonna protect?
Yeah.
Your oneness or your someness? We've noticed through history, under the rock layers and different things like that, that civilizations have just existed and then all of a sudden just dropped off the face of the earth. It's like they just forgot what they were doing.
Yeah.
Just forgot and left it. Forgot.
Yeah.
Walked away and forgot.
And disappeared in population somewhere.
It's almost like they had their minds wiped.
Yeah.
It's almost like they didn't even exist at all. Where did they go?
Yeah.
Why did they just walk away from all of that knowing?
Yeah, left everything.
And just went.
All their knowledge, everything left there.
Biggest, greatest empires you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The most powerfulest on the planet at the time. With big, big armies.
Yeah.
Just disappeared, disintegrated.
Knowledge temples left and houses left and everything, and they just gone.
Just gone. Poof.
Yeah.
Like they just forgot. Forgot what they were doing.
Yeah.
Just forgot. They must have had education.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the civilizations didn't go near it.
Yeah.
Just, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's this? No idea.
They learned something. Even
Now we have to relearn again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't leave anything. Just some clues or something.
And just stopped being that.
Yeah.
Almost like they were acting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some later civilization finds it and they destroy the little bit that was left. And only something that was covered is found later on.
That language is forgot.
Yeah.
The way they spoke is forgot.
Yeah.
Half the stuff that they were drawing is best guess at that.
Yeah.
Best guess.
Yeah, we are guessing what that is. Yeah.
And for many years, you believe it to be, it says this, 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 and this. Then a few hundred years later, they're saying, oh no, actually it says this.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually it says this. That seems to be quite a common thing.
Yeah.
No amount of education seems to be able to teach it correctly
Yeah.
and know it all. Now we've got AI. God, that's deciphering it. That's if that's been programmed correctly, because at the end of the day, AI has been taught
by people. Yeah.
taught by people.
Yeah.
And you can program AI in error and claim it to be correct.
Yeah.
Once again, narrow vision. That's very narrow.
Yeah. It will just do it faster. That's the difference, isn't it? But will do what was given it.
And then you see some that get so well on this journey, and then it's almost like they bit the hand that fed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this dialing back and dialing back. And we've seen intelligent families for a few hundred years, and all of a sudden, no more.
No more. And people are living in huts again and don't know anything. Yeah.
Is that what they call the upper hand?
Maybe.
Reality is far more bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. You have few pictures, few pieces of ruins somewhere. And
Few pieces of puzzle.
yeah. And then even people like 100 years later, they just go there and they say, oh, there was once some civilization. And they are gone. And even people just 100 years later don't know what happened.
And the best explanation for this is just people moved on to something else.
Yeah.
Really?
They will say that they went somewhere else.
That's why languages have just got forgotten all over the place then, yeah?
Yeah.
It must have been a great big battle that happened.
And did they go?
Right.
Is it possible that some of them were elevated and elevated
Good
themselves?
question. I always ask that. How many civilizations do you think actually were lifted?
Yeah. Because you have some legends about someone coming from stars and talking and saying that they will come back or something.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Never fail.
But then you have that only from...
But that's just ancient guff, right?
Yeah.
That's just the ancients' guff. They don't know what they were talking about, right?
So maybe they came back, took those who were left, who did their best, and no one was left to say that, oh, they came back, and
Because they were ready.
because they left,
They
did.
were ready.
Yeah. 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 There are these sayings and talkings in history in many places that are far away from each other and far away in time, in different times.
Didn't know the other existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they did, but weren't all out on battle.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you wonder who were the gods, the deities that
Beautiful.
that you had many, not just one, that was polytheistic religion. Are they really deities? Or did they become deities over hundreds of years because people heard about them and some saw them and then they were gone and other people just created stories about them, included them into their belief because they wanted belief that they will come back, maybe. Who knows? And then someone came and replaced it with one God.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that tribe had only connection to one of them. Maybe.
Reality.
Mm.
So science is limited to what is known.
Yeah.
So what is known here?
Mm.
What is known in your immediate biome?
Mm.
And a few others in another biome, a few others in another biome.
Mm.
Who knows more than the rest?
Yeah.
Where do they get their teachings from?
Mm. How do some ancients know a lot about stars and say about planets at the time that they couldn't possibly see with naked eye? And they knew that there were more than just Venus and Mercury that you can see in overhead at night.
Well, that could lead to two things. One
Yeah.
is the translation of that
Yeah.
was all wrong.
Yeah.
Or two, because it took modern times for them to figure this out. Or two,
Mm-hmm.
they worked it out correctly. However, then we're able to predict and then, oh, we'll utilize this and we'll make this look like this without actually doing that. We'll just say that this story here and we'll make this a reality. So you could go back in time, let's say. Time machine. And you could go back into time
Mm-hmm.
And you could write out a checklist of things that are going to happen across the world.
Yeah.
And then you get to a time now where they're like, you know what, since I'm in control of reality, let's make all this shit happen.
Uh-huh.
Can we factor this into a bit of society? It'll make it look a bit good, won't it? Let's put some of these in. I'll give them something to talk about. And then make these events happen to correlate towards something that is a belief system of, if you do good, you do bad, you do this, you do that, you must do this. This is called good, this is called bad. Cutting down forests, that's good. Burning this stuff till there's no tomorrow, literally, yeah, that's good.
Which is not.
But again, this baseline seems to be followed out of fear.
Yeah.
And then it helps the narrative, therefore you make a few world events happen that formulate this path in order to make this more believable.
Yeah.
But yet you don't question it because you're not allowed, so you don't question that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you won't question this, and then you won't question this either.
Yeah.
But you're intelligent, come on. One post I did see which really, it made me smile.
Yeah.
They'll say that they had no skill sets back then, no learning, and they made roads like this. This is with modern engineering.
Yeah.
And then they show you a road with loads of potholes in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is educated, this is modern engineering, this is...
Yeah.
This isn't, this is. So, man's way, divine way. We want to put some comparisons into that. So, all-knowing, is it called?
Yeah.
Or is it guidance? Are you worthy, or are you not? Well, I don't know. I think the divine would let you know just beforehand.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Leave a calling card. How many civilizations have attacked? I bet it always goes to attack. No ifs, no buts. They make a lot of this stuff that is only really ever good at harming humans.
Yeah.
That's if they're not immune to it. That's if they're not able to stop that.
Yeah.
It's if their capabilities haven't been unlocked. And then we start looking at the Matrix. Well, it's just a movie. Being able to stop a bullet. Because they're more protected. Why would they be more protected? Well, they've gone a lot more. So they have divine protection.
Yeah.
And what is that divine protection? That is, don't touch my chosen.
Yeah.
Without it ever needing to be said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when we look at divine chosen, we can often look at that as just a human thing. Yes?
Yeah.
my anointed, my this, my that. Or are we looking at that preciouses that have unlocked, 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 unlocked? Therefore their capabilities, therefore their protections. They've worked hard for it. And when we look at Earth as a species, everyone's stealing off of everybody else and claiming it off to be their own. That's what you got there.
Yeah. Or hiding some knowledge that wouldn't be beneficial to them.
Yes.
That could give some ease to many, many people. So it has to be patented and hidden somewhere in drawer. And make people doubt some technology at the first place. Oh, this might be dangerous, let's not use it, or something like that.
And this is seen over and over again. How many times do you think that this has been seen with guiding life forms?
Yeah, probably many times.
Natural?
Yeah. In this place, many times.
And then if you know that, mean broaden your science.
Yeah.
After all, your learning journey.
Yeah.
You would do anything you could to protect it, would you not? Ones that we're achieving. Because if they got hold of the Holy Grail from these, they would claim that they did it without any effort.
Yeah.
Because they feel they're entitled to it.
Yeah.
They feel that they are blessed for it. Because they said so.
Yeah, entitled individuals that need titles. Yeah.
They want to sit at the top without doing any of the work to get there. Claim that they do.
Yeah.
It's all very hard. You would not understand. You would not this. You would not that.
Yeah.
Saying that you don't know what's right for you. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know. You're not good enough. You're not worthy enough. You didn't learn what we learned. You didn't learn what we did.
Yeah.
Again, this is nothing more than just hierarchy. But then have you learnt enough to garner that? And then they go and try and shut all of this stuff out because they know best. They know better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their way is much more better and this, and this. So therefore, let's shut that out because our way is just the best.
That's how they behave, isn't it?
And then ask yourself where this understanding of devil comes from. Could you look at the divine and if it acted out against that, would you class it as a devil? Let's say the divine come down and said, right,
Yeah.
this is not acceptable here. This is all fucked.
Yeah.
We are removing you and knocking you off of the platforms.
Yeah.
That would be devil. To them, that's a devil.
To them, yeah. Yeah.
To everybody else in the masses, that might be looked at as the devil. But given enough time, that would be the most godliest thing to do. Take it another way. The masses might be looking at all of that as unfair, and this is to let this continue, that becomes the devil.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah.
see?
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to see this is to take yourself off of the planet. Understand that. Remove your whole mindset off the planet, and you come across another planet that you see this shit happening on. What would you do? Stand back, do nothing?
Probably not. Especially if you are divine and you could do something.
Or would you do something about it, knowing that if that was you in that?
Somehow stop it.
Well, if you had capabilities, you would get down and mingle and see how it feels for yourself. Do you like it? No, I didn't.
No.
Because then you garner some knowing, which then broadens your science, if you call it science. That's what it would do. It would broaden it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And ask yourself, would you liberate them? Or would you keep them in their prisons? Would you teach them? Would you bring your knowledge to them without ever expecting anything in return? Would you do it just to take their resources, even though, you've got to think about this, if there was any life forms that came to the Earth, why would they bother with Earth resources? That would seem like a bit of a pain in the ass to get those resources.
Yeah, resources are everywhere.
Exactly, because, you'll limit yourself down to the belief that resources are only on Earth.
Yeah.
Oh my God, these precious resources, they're only on Earth. Oh dear. We've got no capability of being able to get into a planet or blow up a planet. Oh my days. We couldn't even go to another solar system where there weren't none of you, and we would be unbeaded. Wouldn't have to go through a little battle first, unless we're just full of ego.
No.
Got to prove a point and all the rest of it.
No.
No, you go elsewhere, right?
Yeah, creatures who can travel like that will go somewhere else.
So it ain't for resources, and it most certainly ain't for your gold. It ain't for your silver.
So they might come to see if some creatures, some beings reached level when they are
And what do you
reasonable.
think their equipment would be? If they had equipment, do you think they could have an authenticity meter?
Maybe.
And a corruption meter?
Maybe.
The being goes through it. Beep, beep, beep. Reject.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Could be like that.
No, I don't just want to enslave the population. No, because that's projecting. That's because they enslave. These individuals here enslave. So they look at that and think enslavement.
Yeah.
Because they enslave the population. Here, you get enslaved.
Yeah.
You're the one that goes into the factory. You're the one that goes on the battlefield. You're the one that goes and collects the bolt, whatever it's called. You go get the minerals. You go work with the lead. You go work with the radiation. You go do this.
Yeah, and you pay tax from all of that as well.
Do they?
No.
Are they walking first?
No.
Are your leaders going into the mines?
No.
Are they going in there, breathing in all the dust?
No.
Are they building their houses with poison?
No.
No.
And they,
So, again, projecting their enslavement ideology onto something else
yeah.
because they do that, so they must do that. And that's what they did do through history. That's what they must have done because we're doing it.
And
Nothing says I quite like what you say about another, regardless of whether there is any proof in that or truth in that. They must have come and taken us for a reason. They took a part of these population for a reason. Oh, they must wanted to just make us into slaves. Or these individuals had unlocked something within inside themselves that could be seen, smelt, tasted.
Yeah. Or they liberated some slaves. Some that they could liberate.
They must have come here for all of our resources. because you're always going after resources. So you spin a narrative that they want resources.
Yeah, they came for resources
So
and never
they're going to
took
make
them.
the humans into the slaves that then go down into all of the mines and mine for them. You mean to tell me that these travel over many, many, many different parts of the universe with capabilities that are way, way advanced?
Yeah.
And back then, the advances were limited. And since then, there's been an X amount of time traveled, so those capabilities have quadrupled, more than anything understood. But yet, they wanted to enslave humanity, dial them back, because with a lot of capabilities, look at what you were doing.
Yeah, and destroy the world and then live in it after they destroy it. Like some of the sci-fi is like that the alien comes and then they shoot all the people and destroy all everything, and then they come and in that mess they go and live in it.
I think you would anger them that something as precious as life, that you squander it, you treat it with the lackest respect ever,
Yeah.
is one of the most biggest insults. When life is very precious in your solar system, and this is the way you treat it.
Yeah.
I think that would piss them off. Knowing how rare and beautiful it is that you were given a chance. And if they are listening to their divine, which they are, they would know that you just disrespect it. As the words that they use, how dare you? How dare you? These are being told for you to say to yourself. And then if one of the collective come down to guide you and you treat it, how are they going to feel about that? I know how you feel about it, but how are they going to feel about it?
I see.
No fear? Offered choices? Was defenseless? Limited capability? What's the excuse? Where would your excuses be? Nothing but greed, manipulation, and control is all you have to go on. That's it. There is no questions need to be asked. None. Jealousy, hatred, anger. What? Because it was exposing, liberating. What would your excuse be? Yeah, no, it's not like it's needed, is it? Self-explanatory, really, isn't it? The gift of life. Many things coming together and working in synchronicity in order to give this existence a chance. Everyone's going to heaven. Yeah, bullshit. Really? For what?
Behave like here? Probably not, is it?
If only if it was that simple.
To be another trillionaire in heaven. Billionaire, trillionaire, millionaire. You know, they are missing those there, don't they? No, I'm being sarcastic.
I know. It's just,
You need more
to be controlled.
Yeah, you need more billionaires in heaven.
No choices, just pretend ones, right?
Yeah.
Artificial ones.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'll do it then. I'm sure you will. And fear-mongering and all the rest of it. Blah-de-blah. Anyway, it's your choice, though. It's your choice to believe. It's your choice not to believe. It's entirely up to you. I wouldn't say that that is for all people. I'm not going to say that it is for everybody. That statement is a very broad statement. What can we do? What can we do? You're not asking those questions, are you? The answers are, you already know. How can I reserve my place there? How do you think? Does it matter what happened then? No. What matters is now. Now. There's a lot of now moments.
Yeah. How you treat the other beings, how you treat the world. Yeah.
Shades of grey, shades of grey, shades of grey. There's also always shades of bloody grey. There are lots of shades of grey. But again, this is just an interpretation, I would say. Just looking into it, that you see a lot of projecting this whole enslavement of humans. Right, you are. That they come down because they wanted all of the resources and minerals and different stuff like that. Yeah, because Earth is the center of this fucking universe, isn't it? Earth is the only planet with all of this stuff on it. Oh, my days. Really?
They traveled to this small solar system to find some resources.
That they didn't want to get themselves. Yeah. They just wanted you to go in and get it. And
and then what? And then they will travel to another system like this, to another people like that. Oh. What a life.
They probably eat humans as well, right?
It's only here that you see the leaders looking at resources in another part that they do not inhabit, and their people, same people of the same language, do not inhabit, but they want it, so they push.
A nation that they believe is weaker than them, the bullies.
Yeah, so
you will use your people to go in here and get this.
Yeah.
Do they still eat humans here? You see, because again, this is tribal.
Yeah.
If they keep with their traditions, is this cannibalistic tradition still going ahead then? Do they still eat human?
I don't think so. Do they? Who eats him?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
You don't think that they... Do you think that they still eat human here? They still eat each other?
Maybe I just don't understand. Somewhere.
How far do you want to go? What you got the stomach for?
Oh yeah,
What you got the stomach for? They hold on to these things called traditions, right?
Oh
That
yeah.
have gone back for many generations, and they won't change any of the traditions because
Oh yeah.
apparently there's power being
Yeah.
absorbed.
Yeah.
So the belief is that if they eat someone who is powerful in their eyes,
Oh yeah, I see.
they gain the power of their enemies if they eat them.
Yeah, I see.
This
Yeah.
this is still probably quite alive and kicking.
Yeah.
And you would be like, no way, that just doesn't happen. Really?
Yeah, somewhere it happens.
Jesus was resurrected. Are you sure he wasn't eaten? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. You think he was resurrected? Or you don't think they happened to get to know where he was located and then move his body and then eat it and feast on it as a way to try and garner his power? Oh, come on. Really? You think that it would have just been left like that and then what, he was resurrected to what? Live, to then die again, to then come back on the lands and come back. Fuck me, man. Yeah, oh my God. So he was resurrected. To be given eternal life then. So he's around somewhere, living somewhere.
Not on earth, they would say, wouldn't they? Somewhere in heaven or I don't know.
No, I think it's more logical that they ate him.
The question is which group?
Which group?
Yeah.
You don't think they still do this to this day?
No, I understand, but would it be
Never been able to remove and move away. They call it a tradition, but it's not a tradition.
Would it be Romans and would it be someone else? Romans were not really interested very much. I don't know.
You would be shocked to know that this happens. What would they do? Make a massive stew? These are the same individuals that believe via them eating animals. They must be gaining the animal spirit as well. If they begin to eat the animals, they must start acting like a fucking, sit there mooing in a fucking field somewhere. That's why everyone sits there mooing in a field. They ate too many cows. They took on the power of the... Oh, please.
I don't know about that.
I think the Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney nailed this one down to a T. Just couldn't bother with a little bit of seasoning. So yeah, there you are. I mean, well.
Yeah. Well.
So is it called bone meal?
Bone meal?
With his ribs, we had bread. We turned his blood into wine. Jesus did.
Yeah.
I mean, are you sure?
Yeah. Blood and body, isn't it? And then you eat bread later on and drink wine. Why?
In some cultures, they still drink bloods as a way of sustenance. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
You don't think this still continues today? Well, it's just a tradition, you know? You can't expect us to move away from tradition, can you? No, I guess really you can't, really, can you? Nah. Last Supper? How much you got the stomach for? I mean,
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I'll tread carefully then. I won't go into that one, but yeah, there's a lot more there than
Yeah.
I'm just skimming top.
Yeah, I've seen some about occult and what they do to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's horrible.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Because the power must be in the flesh.
Now you understand
This would shock you as to who still does this.
Yeah.
It would shock you.
Yeah. When you think about the medieval times and the torture or executions that they had, then you understand why.
This goes on far more than I think you're just ignorant to it. This goes on a lot more than is publicized. Yes. Because that's where apparently you get power from. Weird, hey? Anyway, so let's move on and we'll leave this one right where it is. So, because of that, I'm a little hungry, so I'm going to get something to eat. So.
Okay.